Alrighty.
There we go.
This is the Monday, March 25th, 2024 meeting of the Franklin Public Library Board of Trustees. It is 6:01, calling the meeting to order. This is Maria Imp. Anne Marie Oklubgia is not here yet. I did not hear from her, so Judy Williams-Kalaki is excused. Mike Karlovitz.
Here.
Terry Barris.
Here.
Emily Bennon is excused. Alan Alexandrovich.
Here.
Doris Weber.
Here.
And Michelle Eichmann.
Here.
Alderperson. Thank you. Okay.
I don't need to complain about a full parking lot, but
But it's draining well. I noticed that. Didn't you notice how nicely it was draining?
Very
So-
I don't know, there were a couple of puddles I had to walk.
Uh-oh.
through.
Okay.
did you?
Also present is Carrie Whitmore taking the place of Jennifer Luffel. So our assistant library director is here with us this evening. Alrighty, we don't have any extra public people here, so we are moving on to donations. It was referenced in Jennifer's letter, but anything else to say about that?
Yeah, just that Kristen Wilhelm donated her what was left over from her campaign fund, right?
Yeah.
To the library, and Jennifer's bought some fun stuff with it. She wanted Jennifer to be the one. with
Yes,
stuff.
I thought that was really sweet.
Very nice, yeah.
Like,
Closed out
Jennifer,
her,
you buy things you need.
closed out her campaign account, and the funds to be donated could go anywhere. And Kristen had chose that. She had mentioned that to me too, so that was very nice of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she always says to say hi to everyone.
Yeah. Good. Alrighty, then we will move on to the approval of the minutes. We have two sets of minutes to approve. So the first one we'll do is our regular Board of Trustees meeting last month, which was the February 26th. It's on pages 2 and 3.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
Okay, that was Mike.
I'll second.
Mike and Doris. Any other questions or comments about that? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstain? Alrighty. And then we had to have that special board meeting to approve the state paperwork that we had to do. And that was on the 27th.
I make the motion to approve those minutes.
It was Michelle
Second.
and Terry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Motion carries. All right. Go ahead, Alan.
All right, starting with looking for approval for the vouchers. In Fund 15, you did get the sheets. Pretty straightforward. Nicholas came through at $41,000. That's why we're up to
Right.
$57,000 as a total. And pretty normal. So I'm looking for a motion to approve $57,760.24 for Fund 15's invoices.
I'll make that motion.
Doris, and I will second that. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody abstained or opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Okay, Fund 16, very normal. So I'm looking for a motion to approve $5,386.49 of Fund 16 invoices.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Michelle
Second.
and Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstained? Motion carries. Righty.
Getting into my report for February. February is 16.39% of the year. Revenue is 94.62%, of course, because we've gotten the money from the city already. Total expenditures were 14.04% of the budget, so that's below the 16.39, so that's good. Allocated insurance. Last month when we met, I pointed out that they didn't charge us. Well, they did charge us twice, but they didn't put it all into February. They backdated it and put half of it into January and half of it into February. They did it for allocated insurance and the interdepartment allocation. The only other department allocation is it's $4,490 a month. And last year, for the last 5 months, we were paying $1,851.
And we were also paying for cleaning at that point too.
No, they had adjusted all that, because
Okay.
prior to that, we were paying almost like $7,000.
So what accounts for that?
I don't know.
Do you know? Okay.
No, we have to go to somebody who's working in the city or.
Well, what I'm wondering
That
is if
is-
for some reason they just went back to the beginning of last year when
Or
we had the cleaning person and the adjustment hadn't been made.
Right.
Well,
Because it's
did
about.
they hire somebody that we're sharing now? That,
No, I think we still have our same
I
service.
just- I wonder if they just went back to the budget and looked at it.
That's what I'm
and-
thinking, and yeah. What is, do you have anything from the last,
Well, we've had.
Last
we-
year's.
yeah,
Last
we
year's.
should have at least 3 months at the end of the year when we
well,
were.
on this one report that I do where I put in
Yes,
the new
yes, yes, there we
24,
go.
Yeah, yeah.
2 months, all the old stuff is out there.
okay, so what is
Is it about the
under, what is under,
What account is that? 5560. That's on the second page of this report,
Yeah,
5560. Interdepartment charges. It's. Oh, the one I picked up here, this is all of 2023.
so look at this.
The first
Um,
3 months, they charge us $7,825 each month. And they continued on in April, May, June, July, and then in August,
Yeah, drop down.
dropped to $1,851. And in April, they actually didn't charge us, they doubled up in May. So that's where I put the $39,000 credit that they gave us.
That's right, it was all screwed up all last year.
It was, but look at, we had, so the,
Yeah, but the last 5 months, it was $1,851.
right, so.
Because they had looked at it and seen that there were other things that they were charging us for that they probably
Shouldn't
shouldn't
be
have
any
been.
different than that, right?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
We need a finance director here.
Right, and then, but I noticed that January, February, January and February, they also charged us the $44.90. Is that,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, they
they didn't,
charged it all in February and they backdated that one
Backdated
into,
it, yes.
into January. So
gotcha, okay. Well, then we will,
I would recommend contacting Daniel Brown.
yes,
Last
yes.
year, there was not a finance director.
Right.
Former Mayor Olson was doing the finance director's job,
Right.
along with lots of other jobs.
So we'll ask Jennifer to look into that compared to, and she has all this paperwork, but yeah.
Yeah,
we
and I
can have
apologize.
her-
I don't sit on finance, so I don't know off
Why
the
that's
top
off.
of my head what that would be.
well,
Oh darn.
I know, right?
It really
I
dropped
used
the
to be
ball.
on finance. They bought me from finance and put me here, so here I
oh,
am.
so you got a promotion.
Hey,
Good.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, right. This is much more fun.
All right, so we'll
Okay.
get Jennifer on it.
Other than that, on Fund 15, all the other expenditures were as anticipated. Fund 16, total revenue is 17.86% of the budget, so we're running a little stronger in revenue. That's a good thing. The interest, I didn't mention that in Fund 15, but interest is still running strong. $542 here in Fund 16, which is 18.11% of the budget. And total expenditures are running 21.65% of the budget in Fund 16. That's a little stronger than normal. But because of the kind of charges that we get that are
Right.
annual and whenever they hit, it can spike.
Or things that eventually get reimbursed from the foundation or things
Well,
like
the-
that.
The first 2 months we had furniture purchases, and I
Okay,
think
yep,
that was in 16. So,
okay.
other than that, expenditures are as anticipated, and the cash register report was perfect.
Perfect.
God, I love that kind of talk. Okay, then my report, which shows the monthly financials by month. Again, I didn't see anything that really jumped out at me other than those things that, they didn't charge us for, and now they.
But at least they backdated them month by month and not just a lump sum
Well,
in one month. That
yeah.
kind of throws things off.
But-
Yeah.
Then I just had to throw them in January, and they don't really tie out.
Yeah.
Anyway, but we're okay. We can live with that if that's our worst problem.
Could we
Yes, sir.
footnote, or could you footnote these things that come up like this? Or would that not be, or could that create more problem than it's worth?
That's why I put it in my.
Gotcha, okay.
That is the page of footnotes. So moving on from 15. Did I not put 16 in here?
I have
I've
16.
got it, it's on page 10.
Page 10?
10 and 11.
Did you just short yourself?
No, nope. I grabbed one of Jennifer's packets, so. Here we go, you're right. I just started flipping the pages wrong. It's going backwards. Nice taxable sales, the donation shows up, that's all good. And as I suspected and remembered, furniture and fixtures,
Yeah, that was in
and that's probably would set
Right.
us up to the higher percentage.
Yep.
That's all good. The next report is the one where I put in the actuals in the 2023 financial statement, so that as we look at the totals compared to the budget, we can see how we're running. And in fund, page 11 is fund 16, and yeah, taxable sales are looking like they're gonna run strong, but this is early, so we'll see how that goes. Library sales, library fines, they all are running ahead of what we'd have for a schedule. Refunds, nothing budgeted. And miscellaneous revenue is way behind the budget.
I wonder if some of the extra that we've been running strong goes with just the fact that we have more people coming in the library, that our numbers keep increasing.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay. The next report, this is a report of revenue and expenditures that we get from the city.
The city generated one. Yeah.
And I have no comment on that because I break that out in my spreadsheets. Cash register report is perfect, as I brought up. Things I did is this credit card summary. I went back to last year and printed out one where we have like January through November. I found that one. And actually, we're usually running right around in this area, a little stronger at 4,872 for the March credit card than normal, but 1,000 here or there. That just happens when we buy more materials and program supplies. Usually that happens more in June, July. So,
But if you're doing different programs that require different supplies, then
Yeah,
it's
I
not
was gonna
static.
say,
no,
spring
it's not
break
static,
is-
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
And supplies are just costing more in general.
this is true. Any questions?
Nice job again.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
as always.
For putting it together.
Alrighty, the first item under new business then is the approval of a budget amendment to the 2024 library budget, moving $3,500 from Fund 16 fund balance to Fund 16 general ledger, blah, 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 for the strategic planning expenses. And I had a conversation with Alan. He noticed that at last month's meeting, the library board approved up to $2,500. And so I would like to recommend approving this budget amendment to move $2,500, since that is what we approved last month. So it doesn't raise any questions at the city. And then when, there's not really a question of what the money's being used for. It's not the issue. It's to match what the board approved last month. And so then next month, we can discuss approving that other $1,000.
Well, if you look at the details that are there, every penny's gonna be needed. That
Of what?
$1,000, oh, that $1,000.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we,
Well, right, but it doesn't, it's not needed immediately.
Right.
And we felt that, like I said, that we had approved the 2,500 last month, and we just didn't want to then transfer
Which
$3,500.
I think in
So-
our wording, we said something about in her contract, it was up to. So I don't know that you could use some of those funds
Right.
for the other stuff anyhow. So I think it would have to be two different
Let's
of money.
see.
and we do have $350 as an overage contingency, which takes us to that 2,500.
Oh, that's
Right.
true.
So then what we need to look at next month is gift cards, supplies, and food.
So in the minutes, it's up to 2,500 for strategic planning services.
So that would be.
So you're right, we almost would need then a second motion for that. So, do I have a motion to approve a budget amendment to the 2024 library budget, moving $2,500 from Fund 16 fund balance to Fund 16 general ledger number 15.0511.5499 unrestricted contingency for strategic planning expenses?
So moved.
I'll second.
Alan and Mike. All right, any other questions about that? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstained? Motion carries. I'm sorry, that was Mike and, no, Alan and then Mike. All right. Jennifer and I met Wednesday to go over the agenda, and then she put this out, what, Friday night or whatever? And between then and today, some new information, she received some other information regarding the material selection policy and asked that it be tabled. So, any comments on, I mean, she'll explain it all next time. So we are going to table that until she can bring this other, she got information from other library directors about how they word all that and what they recommend. So, I believe we need to move to table that, so I will make the motion to table that.
second.
And that was Michelle. Anybody have any other questions about that? Okay, all in favor? Anybody opposed or abstained? All right, motion carries. Update on council actions relating to the library.
I have nothing at this time relating to the.
Hey, thank you. All righty. Mike and Doris, exciting news about the strategic planning committee?
Mike's got notes.
Because you don't? You have an excellent
She's
memory.
got it all in her head.
Yeah.
So we met last week Tuesday, had our first meeting, and we have a total of 10 people that are part of the strategic planning. Carrie, I, and Doris, Franklin High School student. Ellen from the health department, Jill, FPS librarian, Cindy, who's Friends of Weir, and then Sarah, the child librarian, Barb Wiesner, and then Paul Rotzenberg joined us as well. So we had a nice, diverse group. Really good conversation. The purpose of the meeting was really just to kind of get things kicked off and get an idea from Rachel what direction we were going to go in. So it started out talking about what do you think the community's view of the library is? So there are a number of different questions. What do you think community's view of the library is? Who are the partners of the library? So just kind of noting those types of things, so that we can get an idea of, who all is behind us. And we started to do a SWOT analysis. So we just did the strengths and weaknesses of the library, and everybody kind of pitched in. It's just like, well, what's strong about the library? Okay, what are some of the things that are weaknesses of the library? And then we're going to do the opportunities and threats, the next meeting that we're going to have next month. I felt good about how the thing kicked off. I know the strategic plan that we went through last year, but then when we finally got to the end, we felt like there was a lot of work that we needed to do to really put the plan together, and I don't have that same feeling with Rachel. It seems like she's done this lots of times, and this is going to be something that she's going to be able to pull together for us in the time frame that we're working in. I don't know.
I would agree. She definitely was, she does this a lot. I think she was just super organized, she knows exactly what she's doing. And yeah, overall it was a very positive. Everybody has a lot of positive things to say. I was hoping people would say some more negative things. But I bet when we get the community.
Well, when we get to the opportunities and threats, where those are things that come from outside, then I think you're liable to hear of some things. Or at least now that we'll have a month to think about it.
There's a few Franklin Facebook pages you could mention that you can back on if you desire.
Well, some of those got taken down, so Facebook removed some of those pages. But no, I mean not like big things, but just
Constructive criticism.
Yeah, there are things that are going to have to make some.
There's going to be
changes.
things that we've talked about in these meetings.
Right, right. That even maybe they won't. Maybe the community won't come up with those, but we'll need to add those as a board.
I have one thing to add, if it's appropriate, if it's not, feel free to stop me. I had a constituent contact me. I've been meaning to talk to Jennifer about this in regards to, and I have her name at home in my notes. She frequents the library quite a bit, so you may know who she is if I had her name with me. She's a longtime Franklin resident. I believe she's in her upper 80s, lower 90s. And her concerns are the ramp that's outside, or the angle of the slope when it was, it has to be ADA, of
It
course.
is.
But she feels that it's very slippery for others in the winter time and also when it's raining. And she asked if we could put up if the library could put up some type of a railing or something to make it not so slippery.
Well, good news. I believe that the Buildings and Grounds is about to do their annual walkthrough.
list.
That would be the perfect thing to add to that list.
Yes, if you wouldn't mind doing that.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
yeah.
You're on it. You're on it. I was going to say.
Yeah, you are.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not sure if others have had that feedback from anyone else, or
I haven't heard that because we had some kind of complaint
Some issues,
about it, and I know Jennifer, because they came back out and redid
There was some
stuff.
issue about the width of it or
Yeah, it
something.
was
Yeah.
really-
Yeah.
Something wasn't quite right, but I think it all
ADA,
came back okay.
yeah.
Obviously.
Because I know I complained about something too, and she said, well, they're coming back out
Yeah.
because it
Something
wasn't quite ADA.
Right.
yeah, this resident just didn't understand why, and she's not at all. She's she could probably run miles around me. She's
Mhm.
very
She's still healthy.
very in shape for her age. So she's not in a wheelchair, but
Yeah.
her, that was just her
Mhm.
personal concerns
Yeah,
that
yeah.
for those that aren't get slippery.
Well, and
And
there
that's
are going to be opportunities for community meetings.
I was gonna say
Yes.
that thing
Right.
with
And
once-
community feedback
Yeah,
Right.
on the
once we
surveys.
get
Yeah.
the survey
Yep.
and
Right.
meetings that maybe you should reach back out to her
And-
and invite her to one of the meetings.
Yeah, possibly, because she says she comes here so often, she didn't really want her name to be known. She
Sure.
doesn't want
Oh, yeah.
people to think that,
She's complaining.
yeah.
Or maybe just give her one of this, just let her know that surveys are available. Because
that
those
might
are
be-
anonymous.
And that might
I
be
think.
something I'll recommend to Jennifer, but just for you too, to really encourage, because I don't know if it's all of the older people have their own pages or lists that they mail out to their constituents, but to encourage them
Oh,
to
yeah.
take that survey for the strategic plan when it comes out, if if the city council could take an active role in helping
Yeah.
us to get that out to
That'd be
as many residents as possible.
Sure, I'd be
So-
happy to. I keep active on my Alder page
Yeah.
year round, not just
Yeah.
at election time. I don't know that the other Alders
Yeah,
do.
I know a
And
couple
is-
that have and some that probably don't.
Is it
so-
on our city website yet, or can it be? on
No,
our
I don't
planner?
think it's been created, has it? The
What?
survey.
When's
No, I
it-
don't
no,
think
no,
that's
no,
not
we
even-
just had our, this
No.
is basically
Right,
a
it's
meet
just
and
the
greet
start,
meeting
okay.
and to kind of
Right,
get
right.
the foundation.
So,
Yeah,
for
I
it
would
all
be
in.
happy to help
Yeah.
start, and I'd be happy to ask the other Alders. And I think it'd be a great idea to have something in the city website and of course something in the newsletter
Right.
mentioning.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it was the last time round too.
Yeah, we're
But,
meeting
um,
again, I'm sure it's probably, yeah, it's in our thing here, but we have another one coming up the day after the board meeting on April
Right.
23rd.
So that's the kind of thing that's a perfect
I'm
feedback
sure
for the
we'll-
strategic plan.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I'm sure we'll
that
talk
sort of
about
thing,
further
and-
dates.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, that's pretty much it, we just,
Anything else?
yeah.
We did go a little bit longer than what we originally planned.
There was
What do you
some
mean?
long
Oh,
conversations
Okay,
that
yeah,
were
like
off
the
topic,
meeting time.
got pretty off topic.
But I think with it being the first meeting,
Yeah.
Rachel was being a little bit sensitive to not necessarily cutting people off when the conversation was kind of going, you make sure everybody gets to say
Heard.
something, gets their voice heard. It wasn't too much of that. There can be some meetings where it goes on and on and on, but it wasn't that
Okay.
at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
That's good news.
Well, you don't want
Yeah.
everybody sitting there not saying anything either. So of course,
I don't
that's a
think this
good-
group is going to
Yeah,
have
I
a
don't
problem
think
with sharing their thinking, so that's really good.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for.
Uh-huh.
Did you want to add anything to it from the director's
That
standpoint?
sounds, it was a very good meeting, yeah, I'd say it was very productive.
Good.
I think I said it all.
Kind of
Good.
what you would expect the first meeting.
Sure.
to be.
Yeah.
Sure. Great. Well, thank you two and you three for
Yeah, it's a great group of people
for
together.
being on that. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Alrighty, agenda item 9 is my report. Nothing really to report, other than a reminder of the master calendar. As I mentioned, Jennifer will be reaching out to schedule the annual walkthrough of the Buildings and Grounds Committee, and that is Annie, Annalee, and Michelle. So look for that. She'll be doing that.
And we have no date, you're saying?
No,
Yeah.
I'm just
That's going to be for your
putting it in your
committee to
heads that
decide.
you
Send out a bunch
should,
of
she'll
dates
send
to us.
out,
They will. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
she'll
Thank
send
you.
out something to schedule.
Thank you.
And then I think she's already been in contact with the finance committee or has talked to some of you, maybe just to you, or am I? Apparently not.
About the budget?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had actually put together a
Yes.
budget.
See, I knew she said something about already, yes, it's, I know, right? Helen's done it for the whole city, by the way. No.
Yeah, right? Hey, look at you.
So
Falls
anyways.
over, he's
yeah.
got time.
Yeah.
All righty, so that, yeah, that was.
Till he opens the pool. It's going to be much
Right,
too
yeah.
busy.
exactly. Okay, well then we will move on to the library director's report.
All right, do you want me to read it word for word?
No,
No.
because
Okay.
we're supposed to
Don't you
read it
dare.
ahead
Do a
of
dramatic
time.
interpretation.
We've been like an interpretive dance this
Oh.
month.
Oh, I don't know about that.
If you want to keep it going, you could just say, anybody have any questions? Okay, good. We're done.
Okay, yeah. Well, we already talked about Kristen's donation, which was great.
Yeah.
And I know that all the staff is very excited about our new telephones, which we'll be getting on April 8th. And it will be saving us $70 a month, which is lovely.
Woo.
Yay. You already talked about buildings and grounds. They fixed all that messed up curbing.
No, they did not. No, see,
No?
I circled this last week when I printed it out. And then so that I would remember to look. Right when you walk up, next to the wonky ramp, there's a big chunk
Now it's so wonky.
right there.
Right in front?
Right in front. Yes.
Okay. Well,
So now
I
there
mean,
was
I
a
did
big
see them
chunk
out there.
and the chunk was sitting there and somebody picked up the chunk, but that could have been your own guy, like.
That could have been Mike, yeah.
But there's a big
okay.
chunk right out there. I don't often go right straight out the front. I usually go down one of the sides, but I specifically looked today
Okay.
because
Where resides the chunk now?
what's that?
Where resides
I don't
the
know.
chunk
Somebody hopefully picked
Yeah.
it up and
Oh.
tossed it
Okay.
threw it away appropriately.
I
'cause
did
it's-
see them working on the
Yes,
chunks
me too.
over there,
Yes,
right?
me too.
So, okay, good to know.
So
that
that's
they
why I made a note,
still
because
need
I
to
want,
fix chunks.
well, yeah, right out the front door. I'm sorry for being
Yeah, I wonder if
picky,
they
but-
just missed that one, or is it new?
No,
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 you've
because
seen
it's
it
kind of
before.
what started this. I saw that
Okay.
one and, okay, so.
I saw all the other ones as I was
Yes.
walking to City Hall, and I was like, what's with all
Oh,
these
yes,
chunks
yes.
everywhere?
No.
Okay. And let's see. We talked about strategic planning. I will say that, like, at least the librarians who have worked with Aspen, we're very excited about Aspen being introduced. We do have some training coming up in April. And then it looks like McFliss will be here to do any public training. So
Cool.
Jennifer suggests that if any of you are interested, to let her know.
They have a ton of stuff out because they just introduced that juicy
Juice, yeah.
reading
Yep.
thing, whatever, and their reading tutoring.
Mm-hmm. That's for McFliss. So
Yeah.
Deb's
Sorry.
I keep doing it. Deb's the marketing person with McFliss, and she's like, I think this is like her second year, maybe it's her third. But she's really, I think, finally like getting into the groove, and like the word is getting out there about more of our resources that we are providing. So she's still trying to get enough subscribers for the McFliss
I
YouTube
did see that.
page. So if you haven't, just subscribe to it. She needs 1,000 in order to
Yeah.
do something. I can't remember what it is, but I'm assuming it's marketing related, right?
Yeah, yeah.
In order to be
Like
able
it maybe
to
comes up first or it
or advertise.
you something
Yeah.
like that.
I
yeah.
honestly
I think
read the
sometimes
email
they
very
have to
quickly.
do like lives in order to do lives and stuff. That was like last
No.
week that she put out a
You-
Facebook
Yeah.
ad for that or whatever though. So I wonder
Yeah.
if she's gotten it by now.
She was very close. I would say she
Yeah.
had less than 150 people that she needed to get. So hopefully she'll get it. And I don't know, does anybody else have any other questions with what Jennifer wrote in her
So,
report?
so these free
Oh, yeah.
headshots, tell me about that.
Mhm.
And
So
then I have one other question.
she contacted a photography
But,
company.
yeah, I saw it on then our invoices.
think-
Yeah.
And she wanted to do these professional headshots for free. And yeah, it filled up like incredibly quick.
Is it full already?
It filled up in less than 24 hours. All the slots.
I don't
And
know
there
if
were
I
a
would
lot
have
of
been able
slots.
to do it or not, but I do need a new picture.
Well, she is going to, she says she's going to book another one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and we do have people wait on the wait list too. So you could still sign up and get on the wait list because she would like to make sure that all the people who are on the wait list do get a chance to get it with the second program.
Because I'm an employee technically of the city, and would I be allowed to do that? That's why I kind of didn't jump on it
Why-
right away.
don't
when I
know.
saw
It's a
it.
community. You're also
It
a
says
community
free.
member.
Yeah,
And it's for Franklin residents.
I don't want to take it away.
It's
from
for,
the
it's not even just for
No.
Franklin residents.
You're
It's
a
for-
resident.
Anybody that uses
Well, that
the
is a
library.
Everybody
good
that uses the
question. Is
library.
it a McFliss person, or do they have to live in Franklin for that?
I didn't say.
It's
No,
just-
it's just for anybody who sees it. So if
How-
they could be full of all Greendale people and not Franklin.
Oak Creek.
Oh, right.
How is the new system working? Everybody with
Oh,
the sign-up
with
system?
Local Hop?
Mm-hmm.
So just a few of our programs have started using it. And actually, I think that one was probably the first one.
Yeah, I used it for one of Brittany's programs.
Yeah.
I know.
It's much easier, I feel like. And I do love that there is a wait list option and it's pretty simple. However, people still have to cancel in order for the people on the wait list to be
Yeah,
able to
yeah.
be in the program. So that's not really anything we can do with a computer,
No.
or anything.
Oh, so you guys actually haven't had a program probably yet to
trying to
happen
think
from the using the registration?
No, I think the first one probably will be the Crafter Noon. No, I had that one on Sign Up Genius. I don't know. I think
It'll be soon.
It'll be soon. Probably maybe one of the kids' programs then.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
what program you signed up for.
It's beginning of April.
Okay,
Or one of the
yeah.
soon.
Well, that's
yeah,
like-
it's in April coming
I
up.
next week.
Yeah. So,
So-
my May programs will start using the wait list. Or start using local
Yeah.
hop. But I feel like we all felt like it was very easy to use and I quite liked it. I don't know if this is appropriate to add because it wasn't on Jennifer's.
Yes, this is the library director report time, so you
So I
can have
can add
any,
this.
yes, you can, in your report.
In my
As part of your
report.
report.
As
Yes.
part of the report.
Yes.
So I had sent out, I don't know how many letters to local businesses, just, asking if they would be willing to donate for summer reading. And the Milwaukee Burger Company contacted us and they were like, we would be happy to donate as long as you'll do something for us. And I was like, okay. But this is what they wanted us to do. And it's so a
Just
win-win
advertise, right?
situation. Right. I mean, basically, it is a little bit of advertisement for them. However, on Monday, April 29th, from 5 to 8 o'clock, we get 10% of all the sales from dine-in. I'm sure you probably have to say that you're here for the Franklin Public
Yes.
Library. That is everywhere you go. So yeah, this will be in our newsletter, and I'll get it up on Facebook. Probably not till when I get back from vacation, but just so you guys know, the Milwaukee Burger Company is doing that, and maybe we can continue to work with them in the future, right?
Yeah.
Like she was I'm assuming she was the manager, Michaela.
What's the date?
I hope I'm saying
April
that correctly.
29th.
April 29th. It's a Monday. So they do these like Monday community.
Kind of like Culver's. do,
Yeah,
or,
Culver's,
you know,
Cousins.
others,
Culver's or
like
Billy Sims.
Cousins.
Yeah.
Is Billy Sims, did you contact? I have a
I
good contact
I do.
for,
I did send them a letter.
Mimosa does it?
I have the owner's phone number. He's
So-
usually at the West Bend, Billy Sims, but I have his information and contact.
Where are
I'm
they
sure he
located?
would.
You could send it to
Milwaukee
Laura.
Burger?
She's actually our
They're the
outreach
one-
person.
Aren't they the one on
This just
27th
happened
Street
to
in the
us
old,
like
By Home Depot.
randomly.
Yeah. I was gonna say tumbleweed,
It's- yeah,
whatever.
it's
They were
really
like a million different
good.
things.
Behind?
Yeah.
No, right
In
in
front?
front.
Right on
of-
27th Street.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
But if you go,
Next to
Along
Chili.
that strip.
if you go, you have to try the cheese curds.
yeah.
They're
They're
the best
huge. They're
around.
like,
I think that's what's on top of that burger in that picture.
It is, yeah.
but you can get like anything on your burger, like eggs, avocado. Like they have every weird kind of topping.
It's very good, but again, it's one of those restaurants that I think a lot of residents forget is there.
Yeah, there's a lot,
Because it's
and there's a
on, like,
lot of
27th.
change.
Do you know
There's
who
been a
else
lot of
does
changeover.
those? Chick-fil-A.
In Oak Creek.
The one on 76th Street does it because our school just did it.
Oh, really?
St. Jacoby just did
'Cause
it.
I know the Oak Creek, with my membership with South Suburban Chamber, the Oak Creek one does a lot of things for Franklin too. But
They got
either
a.
or.
That's a good one. So many people go there anyhow.
That is true.
Yeah, and then Culver's and Ryan for sure, and then Billy Sims. If
Mhm.
you let me know how I can contact Laura, or you can have her reach out.
Well, maybe
to
the
me.
foundation could just technically put together like a week or a month with one day
A
a
month.
week or whatever for a month, with the library or something like that. Put different places. That's basically what our school did. It did 2 months of like one day a week
Oh,
at
okay.
different locations.
It's a neat idea.
Yeah.
I have one
Right
other.
after, too.
Oh,
Sorry.
I have one other question for you. The Indian Community School
Yep.
Literacy Night. I don't want to say or invite a board member to be there if you think it would be too many people from the library. But would that be something that a board member's presence might be?
I don't think it'd be bad.
Okay,
I mean, we're
okay.
having a table, right?
Right.
And
right.
I'm pretty sure Jennifer's probably talked at least with you, Maria, about it.
A little bit.
So, like, the Indian Community School reached out to us to come to their literacy night. A lot of the kids that go to Indian Community School do not live in Franklin. The families are not from here. But there are some,
But they're in Milwaukee,
but they're in-
so they have
probably.
Milwaukee
Most of
library
them are in
cards.
Milwaukee.
Mhm,
So it's. I mean, we're there is Franklin Public Library, but we're also representing McFliss.
and their literacy services
So,
are just yes.
You know,
anything.
because like, the we're not gonna only give out library cards to people who are from Franklin. You know, so
Right.
just as long as they live in Milwaukee County. But yeah, it was really
Yeah.
exciting,
What day is
to,
that?
Well, I just thought
April
that,
18th.
you know, if a board member,
Trying to get into the Indian school?
no, I just thought that
I was
it
gonna
might
say,
be
you just wanna
nice,
see what
there
it looks
has
like.
been,
It's super
I do.
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
There'll be like 6 of us there and
Well,
Laura,
Our
right? No.
city administrator, and I know she wouldn't mind me sharing this, our city administrator, Kelly Hirsch, has, one of her children attends that school.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just thought it would be an opportunity for the library board to do something with the library.
I mean, I would
And I
double
know
check
we-
with Jennifer,
Okay,
but.
so
I
if you
mean,
are open and interested in the literacy night at the Indian Community School, representing the board, contact Jennifer.
Yeah,
How about that?
yeah.
So, okay. Good deal. And then
Yeah, and
anything
that's
about at a glance that you want to highlight?
everything.
That's next
He
on.
said, and here, and this is,
You don't put
Alan
this
has a
together?
new way to print this out for you guys. I agree. It's much nicer because I can't read this, even though it's
Alan and his
Put it the right
spreadsheets will
spot.
be possibly presenting some.
when I'm entering some of the numbers. I do some of them. It's not this tiny.
Yeah.
Um, bad.
Yes, I know. Do you?
No, I don't know. I'm supposed to be able to
Able to
read this
read
with my
this.
multifocal contacts, but I still can't. I mean,
Any numbers
you
jump
see
out
how
at
much
you?
yellow there is?
Right.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
I mean, so I only enter certain numbers, but our ebooks and e-magazines, they keep getting higher and higher and higher and higher. So many checkouts, like
Oh.
a lot. And it's wonderful to see. And the Create Space, I
That's
mean, I'll
funny
just,
because it's down 600.
well, yeah, I know, but over last year, look at the,
From
no,
January to
I know, but
February.
still look.
I know.
Because they were
Less people had,
because the
maybe
school was closed.
there was more
in
time to read in
January.
I know you
January.
can't
For a
read the
snow day,
numbers,
and they all
I'm sorry.
checked out books and magazines to read that.
You're right. Okay, fine. But still, it's still way higher than last year. And last year was way higher than the year before. So we're just getting more and more use out of our resources, I suppose.
And
then-
Annalie makes that comment about the schools
Yeah.
too, often.
Good.
Yeah.
And I'll
With
point out
their
the Create
system.
Space. I mean,
Yeah.
we get at least 200 people every month, which
That's awesome.
is very exciting.
And how do you know that's how many?
Oh, well,
Just kind of a rough estimate?
we try and so the librarians
Tally.
try and keep an eye on it and put little ticks in our reference calendar where we keep track of our reference questions. And that's what I go on. So it could be an undercount.
Oh, I would
Sure.
say, I was gonna, yeah, that was gonna be my
If
guess.
anything, it's an undercount.
Yeah,
Right?
Right.
It's not going to be an overcount because we're not just making up that people are in there.
right,
So, but yeah,
cause there's always people in
Mm-hmm.
there.
yeah, there's a lot of.
Is it meaningful that e-news is 0?
So I believe Jennifer's not doing a newsletter anymore, because we're going to be doing it through
The new program.
Aspen.
Right.
not Aspen, but the other thing. The other thing that we got
Oh, yeah. What is that?
that does the text notification, not the text notification, the new
The
program we got for
Patron
the email.
Point.
Patron point.
yeah.
Patron
Yeah.
point. Thank
Yeah.
you very much. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I know that she's trying to make the transition
Okay.
to not do the e-newsletter that we were doing because it was clunky. It was very clunky. And then work on doing the newsletter through Patron Point because it was going to be a lot easier.
Gotcha. All right. Hopefully we'll see that soon. Yep.
Other than that, I don't know.
All right.
You guys can see everything's yellow.
Yep. All righty. Any other questions for Carrie? Okay. Carrie, you had a colon meeting.
Yes. First off, things keep turning up, and this is not because it's an actual problem, but like Terry instead of Terrence, and Barris with one R instead of two, and it happens all the time. I've grown up with that. That's just the way it is because there's people that have a name the other way. There's people around here who are the one R Barrises who are unrelated and all
Okay.
that, and so forth. So it's not a big deal.
So what is your well, we go by first initials often,
Sure.
for that, but
Sure.
where your name is listed, what do you
Oh, in the
prefer?
agenda, it's only one R.
Yeah.
No, there
It's
too.
not always been that way. Has it?
It's an easy thing to have happen.
No, but
In
it
the
has,
attendance thing, and the minutes, it's two.
Yeah.
yeah, okay. And then what is your preferred first? How would you like your first?
Well, we've got some other people here too that are using like what it is. I assume is a nickname instead of a full name, and I don't know if for our purposes it would be more appropriate to have the full name.
Oh.
Whether
Okay.
you'll use it, whether you use it or not. So I just raised that as a point of possible
Okay.
interest. So at any
I will
rate,
note that.
if I can find my notes, there they are. Poland met March 8th, some people in person, some people by phone. I was by phone. The meeting was hosted by the Lakudare Ojibwe University Community Library, which is the Indian tribe up in the northwestern part of the landmass of Wisconsin. And
Can you spell that, please?
I can. I don't know that I want to. It's capital LAC, then COURTE. I'm hoping I'm getting these right. Then capital OREILLES, and then capital OJIBWE.
Thank you.
And that's, I wasn't at the meeting. I think I've been in that area before. But it's a very nice facility. And one of the first things they did, we were on the phone, but they customarily we will have a tour if they'll host it for us, which they did. So the people that were there got to get a tour of the facilities. Get an orientation from the Department of Public Instruction staff. Libraries is one of their areas besides things like schools and so forth. And some of the stuff that was covered was the biennial reports to and from the superintendent of public instruction about library-related matters. So these biennial reports were done. That's in the statutes that's done. So there's a review, and our report is on library services. That's to the superintendent. So they have they do keep track of all kinds of stuff, but this is a summary of the biennium as far as what's been happening in libraries.
Did you approve that report to submit it then, or is it still being worked on?
Those have been done. Are
Oh,
done.
done,
They've been
okay.
in. So that's a big project
Yeah.
that comes up every other year.
Right.
And one of Colin's other things, which is not necessarily something that comes up in meetings all the time, but from the public, complaints, suggestions, inquiries, and advice from the DPI staff on various matters come up. So, and the issue of fine-free came up at the meeting, something we've talked about here. And it brought to my mind, not everybody feels this way in this group, but fine. Sometimes say a kid, anybody, kids or adults, but a kid, might go out. This can happen. You go out, you think you're checked out, you go out, but you're not, and you got to be called back, and other patrons are walking past, and Johnny has to come back over to the desk and have something done, and it's a little embarrassing for a kid, even if it's like nobody did anything really wrong. So So it just something that caught my attention there, that something like that does happen, and that's one of the things that gets into this, is that it's some of these things having to do with like fines are more of an embarrassment for some kids. Not everybody's trying to sneak out with something. Things get forgotten and so on and so forth, and so it's kind of like that. So you can imagine that a kid who didn't do anything wrong, just forgot, to bring the library book back on time, and maybe it's a good lesson that he or she has to pay a fine. On the other hand, some people are kind of put off by that, or maybe there's other ways to put that, and so I don't want to go back there. What if I forget again? I hate that. So that's not report necessarily from this, but this fine free came up, and some of these things are in that as far as something that's
So when something like that comes up in the meeting, what's the expectation in carrying it forward? I mean, do you bring it up for discussion and then it just dies, or is the expectation to then say, okay, we need to talk about this?
Well, that's something that you'd probably decide here. I mean, we've talked about this. We aren't going to talk about it at every meeting, but it's just something that, since it is apparently ongoing, I'd say, at some point we're probably going to face it again, and may not change our decision as a group.
Right.
But it is still something that the library community is percolating through the library community,
Right.
as something that maybe this is something that we would change. What's a long-standing policy in libraries everywhere.
So you mentioned earlier something about, complaints or something. Did you say something about how?
It's right in this. I think it's literally in the statute that if people had some complaint about libraries, that's something that could come through through Coland.
Well, that's my question. Like, if somebody had a complaint, are you talking about patron complaints, or are you talking about staff complaints? And how would something escalate to Coland?
Yeah, if people might I think this would be something that came just directly to Coland because somebody was aware of it.
Somebody who was aware of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we
All right.
can't.
There's not a pathway where it escalates up to you necessarily, or a way that I don't want to
Yeah.
say
Ask everybody in the city of Franklin what Coland is, and you won't get an answer
Oh,
from
no.
anybody.
No.
Right? So
No.
you'd almost need
That's
to
why I was
know.
curious.
You'd have to read about it somewhere or
Right.
something, and then go,
And what types of
maybe
things?
they can answer this
yeah,
question.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious how.
Or
but-
somebody who got some complaint or something might put it up
Might
to us
then put-
because
yeah,
it might be a
okay.
bigger policy,
Okay.
bigger than a one library policy decision.
Yeah.
So that
Sure.
could happen too. So, but just it is there.
Right.
So
Right. Okay.
now you know. So have you, any other questions?
I have a question. Usually there's like a theme to the meeting, isn't there?
Well, it's a theme in the sense that, well, this is what's on this particular agenda. And it's just, for example, this thing where it's this biennial report. Well, then there's
Okay.
kind of a cycle about, well, this is coming up.
It's
so
biennial report.
yeah,
meeting
yeah. So
time.
we're
Okay.
probably, months or meetings before we've got to get that set up.
Okay.
And then deal with it afterwards, because the point of it is then, well, not just to make reports, but actually do something.
Sure.
Or stop doing something, that sort of
Right.
thing.
Okay. Thank you.
Were you ever on Coland, on that committee?
No, but
Did
I
you?
just take the minutes.
No,
and
I
there's
know.
usually
Yeah.
I feel like
Right, right,
There's,
there's a,
usually
like a-
theme,
right,
I've
I-
heard that before.
Yeah. A sense of that. Okay. All
And
right.
just one more question, Terry, to clarify.
Yeah.
It's the Lac Corte Ojibwe University.
Hang on.
I lost you there.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it's pronounced. I didn't know this, but until relatively recently, Lakota Ray Ojibwe. And if somebody from there is listening, maybe they're going to contact us and say that's not quite right. And it's let's see, their library is has that whole title, and then the University Community Library.
Okay. Thank you. And where is it? Yeah.
That's in, I can't remember the actual community. It's that central area of the bigger part of Wisconsin in the northwest, so it's quite a ways up there.
Did you want me to look it up?
No.
Okay.
I'm curious.
I'm
All
gonna
those
look it up.
things I'll do
I wrote
at
it
2 in the
down.
morning.
I should have brought one of those maps that they
Right.
get all the time,
Yeah.
so, or used to
Right.
anyway.
Sit straight up with bed.
Alrighty, any other questions for Terry? All right, then our next meeting is April 22nd here in the Seaver Conference Room. Does anybody know ahead of time they will not be here?
It's Earth Day
Yes,
and Passover.
I know, it's late this year, right? And then the Strategic Planning Committee is meeting the very next day. And then those of you on the Buildings and Grounds Committee should be doing your walkthrough, and Jennifer will contact you about that. All right.
I don't know.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I second.
All right, that was Annie and Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstain? Motion carries. All righty. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
I told my